Podcast, episode 89. I'm your host, Jason Arriola, and today I'm joined by John Lucero.
Hello.
And Vanessa Cahill. I almost said my Estes.
Hello. Either works.
Yeah. We know who you are. You're the person behind the scenes who runs everything behind the scenes and does all the important stuff as far as not making sure I don't break the site into a billion pieces. So. But you are also a person who I recently talked into getting a Switch.
Yes, and I thank you for it. That was like the best thing I've done all winter.
Well, good. I'm glad you got into it. So, okay. So let's go run through real quick the two things we've kind of previously talked about on the podcast, without you, of course. Zelda. I don't know if you did you listen to our Zelda podcast?
I did.
You did, yeah.
Pretty
That was
long.
it was 2 hours of glowing. Just
Yeah.
talk.
That was a long one.
That was the second one.
Yeah. Little behind the scenes there. I forget what the hell happened to the original recording of it, but it basically GarageBand ate it. So the next week we reconvened and just talked another 2 hours about Zelda. So didn't really seem to miss much of anything in that one.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is I feel like you could do that podcast over and over again and it would still be valuable.
Yeah. I think we still kind of did every week. We were still talking about Zelda pretty sweetly there for a good couple months. I think every episode we did. So
Yeah. It's an alright game.
yeah, it does.
It's an alright game.
It does some things okay. So so Vanessa, I'm sure your opinion is about the same as ours. We loved it. It's a great game, and yeah, even if you don't have a Switch and you somehow have a Wii U and still haven't made the jump over, just play that game. It's a wonderful game. But I don't think anyone needs to talk up that one anymore. A game that really only John talked about is been Mario Odyssey. So how much time have you put into Mario Odyssey?
Definitely a couple hours. I've gotten to the Metropolis City, which is, if John, if you'll remind me.
It's like the New Donk City.
New Donk City, that's it.
It's like the third or fourth world, maybe a little further. I don't. Oh no, it's maybe 6. I don't remember at this point.
Something like that. So 6 worlds, give or take. It's fun though. It reminds me of Mario 64 a lot.
Yeah, this game has its design philosophy is very much 64 and Sunshine to a lesser degree, but mostly 64. But because fuck Sunshine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say why, because it tries to be fun.
yeah. They added the fun part this time.
Yeah, it's like what if we did Mario Sunshine, but guys, stay with me on this one. What if we made it enjoyable and didn't not control like a nightmare?
Sometimes like a weird tech demo that became a full game. It's like, but anyway, Odyssey. What do you think?
I really like it. I think it's I was really fighting off like separating out the whatever they're called, the Joy controllers. For a long time.
Joy-Con, remember Joy-Con.
Joy-Con. I was really aversive to like actually separating them out and playing with them individually. But the game convinced me, and I like, especially with that game, I would never go back to playing with them as like a single unit again.
Wait, you hold them one in each hand and play like that?
Mario Odyssey only, because of all like the hat flipping and stuff. That is how I play. I'm one of those people.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it took a long time though for the game to convince me, and finally I was like, well, okay, it says I could do everything I could with just a controller, but I'm having I'm struggling getting it to like spin the right way and stuff. So I finally separated them, and it was definitely a good idea.
Yeah, I've not played with the dog face controller in that game.
Dog-Con.
Yeah, I have a pro controller, so I use that, and it works actually very well, especially compared to handheld mode. I don't know how much you've played in handheld mode, but the motion control stuff is kind of a nightmare in handheld mode.
I would say terrifying, because I'm afraid of maybe accidentally flinging my $300 Switch across the room.
Yeah, it's a big it's kind of a big complaint of mine. In an otherwise really well designed game, but so you play with one in each hand.
Uh-huh.
Do you lounge about on the couch like you're having a fit of the vapors or something like that when you're doing it?
It's pretty silly looking. Like every once in a while, like especially sometimes you have to like really like go forth and back, like in really fast succession. My husband will look over and be like, "What are you doing over there? Are you playing maracas? No, go away."
I mean, at one point you are playing maracas. No, I know he plays guitar. There are guys playing maracas. Anyway, yeah, okay. I've not played like that.
I recommend it.
I'll take your word on it.
That's John's nice way of saying not gonna happen.
I can tell you though for a fact, any game in the future that's like play with the controllers like this, I'm gonna listen right away because it was and I might be really disappointed, but for this one, it was not disappointing, and I'm happy I did it.
How about any game that's made by Nintendo tells you to do that? Maybe.
Yes, there we go. That's a better pack to make.
I really like the Pro Controller for that game. It especially for like the late game stuff. Once you get to the harder challenges and moons. Power, yeah. That you need to do like the long jump into the hat throw into another long jump to like be able to like the races and stuff like that. I like the controller for those. They require a little too much hand dexterity for the handheld mode.
Yeah, maybe I'll keep that in the back of my mind. So when I'm struggling, I'll be like, I'll just switch to the Pro Controller.
It's and the motion control actually works really well on the Pro Controller, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was no motion control at all, but can't get everything we want, I guess.
I know. I do wish sometimes that there was like a turn off motion control function because sometimes it just really messes me up.
There is an option in the menu that's kind of deceptive, and I forget what it actually turns off, but it only turns off like one thing in motion controls, and I forget what it is.
Oh, handy.
Yeah. It's it got me excited for a second. It wasn't meant to be though.
You were disappointed.
Yeah, I completely forgot you could turn off the motion controls when I went back to play Zelda. And oh boy, let me tell you, for a little while I was like, "What is wrong with this stupid thing? Why God?" And I was like, "Oh wait, there's motion controls built into the Pro Controller." That's right, I forgot about that. So
yeah, they need to stop with motion controls, but they created those Joy-Cons, so it's still going to be a thing.
Damn, yeah, at least for a while. I mean, I just use them when they're necessary. I don't see them adding anything to Zelda. Actually, if anything, I think the motion controls made Zelda, or detracted from Zelda's like near perfectness. It's just those stupid shrines with the motion controls. Oh God.
Oh yeah, I don't mind it for the targeting with your arrows though. Like I find, especially handheld in Zelda, like if I can get there with a joystick and I can like fine tune my targeting with the motion, that I find really useful and cool.
There are people that swear by Splatoon's motion controls, and I try it defaults to them, and once in the opening area, and once it put me in the hub with the option to change, I immediately did that. But most people say that once you get used to them, it is the better way to play. I didn't care, but I had a fine time with that game without motion controls.
Well, it's because you're not a MLG level gamer there, I guess.
MLG Splatoon.
Yeah.
It exists.
You saw the promise of the Switch when they, they show the guys in the arena playing Splatoon or whatever.
Right. Yeah. There's ARMS. That's all motion controller pretty much. I played the beta for that.
Yep.
The game you can buy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's better than 1-2-Switch, which isn't kind of damning. It's kind of damning with faint praise there, but
that game costs $50.
The
1-2-Switch.
No. That game costs any amount of money. Is like what? Why? I mean, I guess you got to pay the actors, but man, I mean, you could have just done like what is it, those West of Loathing games or whatever, and just done stick figures.
It's like the most pack-in game ever made. That's not actually a pack-in game.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think eventually they ended up selling Wii Sports by itself for like $20, and that seemed reasonable, but at least that had a longer tail on it where, you could play these.
It's a hell of a deal, honestly. Wii Sports, you get a lot of mileage out of Wii Sports.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. I mean, you could play bowling nearly endlessly with people. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, my grandma and I actually used to play bowling. Like, I lent her my Wii for a while because she wanted to play bowling, so. And I even bought her own Wii remote for it, so.
My family played tennis a lot. That was our go-to.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with boxing too with a couple of my buddies too for a while. That was kind of fun. But yeah, it's just like there's enjoyment to be had in that game. Whereas 1-2-Switch is literally just a novelty tech demo sort of thing, and it's like why is this a full retail release? I mean, this should be, I don't know. I could see like a $5 eShop download. Sure, I might go for it there just for the ridiculousness of it. But 10 times that, no, not gonna happen.
Get milk a cow in that game.
Yep.
Sold.
Yeah.
Boy, can ya. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep my comment to myself on that one about Anyway,
Oh
so
no, there's some really good footage out there of that.
oh,
Anyway,
I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure if you look on the
Yeah,
dark web, there's some really
Mario
bad
Odyssey
footage
though,
too.
really good. Vanessa seems to like it. It's yeah, I think I got 40 hours out of that game. I did not get every moon. I think I'm gonna go back eventually and get every moon.
So I don't know about that. I'll probably work my way through it and eventually beat it and then put it away in the drawer.
Yeah, there are like 880 moons, I think.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's like getting Korok seeds. No, thank you. Only if they're there.
I think it's a little different than the Korok seeds because the Korok seeds.
Yeah, the Korok seeds are great because you end up with a big pile or with a pile of shit at the end of it.
I heard about that. It's golden though. It's golden.
It is. It is. That's one of the best middle fingers in any game, I think. Because it doesn't do anything for you, right? It's just a golden pile of shit.
The badge of honor.
I think it's just something. I don't remember what, and I don't really want to kill the mystique of it. Let's just say no, it doesn't do anything and go on. I mean, it's a pile of shit. I mean, really, at that point, you've collected that many Korok seeds. You have God knows how many weapon slots and shield slots, and I mean, what could it possibly do for you at that point?
Yeah, you're already invincible.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, here, I'm literally just throwing, like knight broadswords at you. Like, I have so many of these things. I'm literally just disposing of them as soon as you come into my view. Here, whack. So, okay, and a game we've probably talked a little bit less about that you've been playing is Blossom Tales.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it is adorable. I love it.
Yeah, it was
I've had such a fun time.
Definitely like one of the surprise releases from last year that kind of really, really did it for me. Like, I really love that game. How many dungeons in are you on that, Vanessa?
Only 2.
2? Okay. So you're a good chunk of the way in there, so.
Yeah, it's been so cute though. I think it's just I love the dialogue. Jason was explaining to me a little bit earlier that if you actually quit and exit the software and then come back in versus just doing the sleep mode thing, he retells a story, which I'm now going to have to go back in and listen to that old man tell me the story because that sounds adorable. I can't wait.
Some of my favorite moments in that game are the you probably run into maybe at least one of them, but the little side dungeon things or whatever, or just the side caves, where the grandpa will say, and then this happened, and then Lily will dispose of that, and then something else, and then the kids will be like, oh no, but wait, you need it, or and then 400 goblins showed up, and then you just end up with all these goblins on the screen or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's so cute. Or you get to pick between kind of two villains to face, and he's like, and this. Oh wait, no, just kidding. The rock people instead. It's so cute.
Yeah, the dialogue in that is it's adorable. I think I made the comparison it plays a little bit more similarly to I would say Link's Awakening, feel wise, but man, I love what they did with the combat in there, where if you're if you're charging your sword and an enemy runs into you, it's not like Link where it just they run into it and tap and you lose your charge. Lily will just unleash the the spin attack or whatever, and then I love the little follow up that you can do with it. Is if as soon as you finish the spin attack and you tap the attack button again, she'll just basically launch herself and do another strong attack at the enemy. So it's I gotta say, for a 2D Zelda game, the combat in that game is great.
Yeah, they did a great job. I also love that it's a woman hero.
Ooh.
I know. Hooray.
Progressive.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Not only woman, but kind of a young girl.
Yeah, exactly. It's a true coming of age hero story.
And I think I think I tweeted it out. I may have even put the screenshots in my review. But the beginning of it. Hey, have I told you the one about the story about the heroic elf who saved the land of High? And yes, 1,000 times already. just the knowing nods of yes, you've told us this story 100 times, we get it, it's the same damn story every time. So it's I think it's poking fun at it at the same time of yes, it's the same damn story every single time, we get it. But I don't know, like I said, the dialogue in that game is just great. I don't know, I still am kind of finishing up my game of the year list, and I think that one may be creeping up in there. So
Yeah, I've not played it, but it's been kind of cool because it kind of went under the radar last year. But with the Switch release, I feel like it's gotten a lot more like buzz for what it is.
Yeah,
And
they said
yeah,
within a couple, like I think within the first week
yeah,
or two, they sold more than they sold on Steam since its release. So
That's
yeah, like
excellent.
yeah, the Switch is a good place for indie games and smaller games.
yeah, and that is filling a niche right now that Nintendo's not filling, and that's the 2D Zelda games. So
The next one will probably be that. Because what there was, Link Between Worlds was the one before Breath of the Wild.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
man, it's hard to believe. I think it's like 4 years now.
yeah, almost 20 end of 2013.
Oh
When it came
man.
out.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, so I think we're creeping up on 5 years here now.
Oh, maybe 14. It is around 13, 14. So yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that game is that old. It's like, I don't know. It's definitely like one of my favorite 3DS games. It might be, I don't know. It might be my favorite 3DS game. So, wow. Yeah, it's gonna be 5 years this year.
Yeah, I just
November
looked at November.
22nd. Holy God Almighty.
Yep.
Vanessa, you ended up playing that one, right?
No, I didn't.
I swear I recommended that to you. Damn it! Come on.
I mean, you might have recommended it to me.
I recommend a lot of things that you, Jason, you never played. So
Yes, I don't have the time, John.
you buy them though. So
Yeah,
that's-
exactly. See, at least I buy them. I buy them to sit on a shelf and collect dust, or slowly degrade digitally if that's how I buy them. So
I have this bad habit of buying them and then being like, I'll play for 2 days, and I'm like, oh, this is excellent. I played for 15 hours in 2 days, then I put it down and never pick it up again.
I have a habit. I do that too. Like I'll have a hot and heavy weekend with a game and then never go back to it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, you need
Yeah.
to recall.
Yeah.
It's like, oh baby, that was great. So I'll call you.
Yeah, I'll call you. Don't
Yeah.
look me up.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think I have your number. Don't worry about leaving it. You're good. Oh yeah. No, don't leave a toothbrush. You don't. Come on, let's not make it this awkward. We know we're never gonna do this again.
Yeah, I
With
do.
that analogy, having broken down, to the back to the wholesome Blossom Tales. God, so, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that game is definitely like one of those that kind of flew under the radar. I think even on Steam, like I pushed as much as I could for it, and it's just nice to see it getting a real chance at the life it deserves on the Switch. So it's really weird to see all these people like all of a sudden like talking about Blossom Tales on Twitter. Actually, Josie Breckner, Visager, who composed the music for that game and our podcast intro, she and I were going back and forth, and she was like, "How did she put it?" She was like, "Oh, you were on this before all these damn Nintendo kids got on it," and I was like, "Get off my lawn." Kind of the way I feel. It's like, yeah, come on, guys. I played this months ago. It's great. Just yeah. So, but it is nice to see it getting the shot at life I think it needs and deserves, because that game is definitely a pretty strong Zelda-ish game. Zelda clone. I don't know what you'd call it. Loving tribute to Zelda.
Yeah,
Loving tribute.
I feel like Zelda-ish might be a little light. It's very Zelda.
Yeah. I'd say the puzzles are a little bit more involved in the dungeons for the most part, and then, man, those boss fights are tough. I don't know if you had as much trouble with some of those as I did, Vanessa, but man, I felt like some of them I felt kind of cheap occasionally. Like just the bullet hell elements they threw into some of them was like, oh god, come on, seriously, my brain can't do Zelda and this at the same time.
Oh yeah, I have a bit of a hard time.
Yeah, other than that though, I mean, that is one of those games I strongly recommend. So, anyway, so that's been Blossom Tales, Mario, and Zelda. Outside of the Wolf Link amiibo, have you picked up any other amiibo?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I
okay.
should.
Yeah.
No, you're on the opposite side of this.
They're cool little models.
I was gonna say just for the Zelda one, just for pure collectibleness, they're cool. But I wouldn't go out of your way to pay like more than retail for them. But it is cool to have some of like the more iconic like Zelda gear in there. So because I'm slowly building up my inventory again on the Switch version, because like the Wii U one, I had the what is it? The Ocarina of Time one or outfit, the Twilight Princess outfit, the like the original Legend of Zelda outfit there, including the lack of lack of pants. The complete lack of pants and just a really long shirt. And it's funny, if you remove the pants, his underwear is technically longer than the whatever he's wearing underneath. So like his boxers will kind of creep under. It's a really weird look if you do that.
It's a weird detail.
Yeah. In a game full of weird details, that might be one of the odder details. So.
Probably they were like, no one's going to do this.
And
Don't
what's
spend
the
any
first
more
thing
time
Jason
developing
did?
that.
No pants. Let's do this. Oh, whoa, weird. So yeah, it's like I said, and especially like that is a very small market of people who could get that, because you have to have the amiibo, and then you have to get it in a random draw when you scan the amiibo, like that you're able to once every 24 hours. So it's like the odds of somebody getting that full costume is pretty low, and then to do that combination and be like, yeah, look at, ooh, whoa, that's weird. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on. John, what have you been up to lately, game wise?
I took a break for a few weeks, but then this last week, I've been playing a lot of a hot new 2018 release, The Witcher 3. Which is something I did 3 years ago when it actually came out. I really liked it then, and it was one of those situations where I moved, and this is before I was on the podcast too. So I think I've talked about this like in passing, but
I think when we talked about this, it was after we finished up talking about The Last Jedi with Connor, actually.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it on the podcast once or twice, just in passing. Because I feel like this game has had to have come up at least a few times. It's for one reason or another. Mm. But anyway, I moved, and that game has a lot of systems, and the movement is really hard to get used to because it's not that good.
No,
but
no.
But
oh boy, yeah. Hey, you want to walk? How about full sprint?
It's I feel because Geralt feels like he feels too big for most of the areas he's in. It's weird, but I think it's how close the camera's pulled in.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I fell off of it. I think I was about 2/3 of the way through the game too. Main story wise at least. And because I had gotten to the Skellige Isles, and I think I'd done at least the first major quest line on there. Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's 3 years ago, so
yeah, yeah. And you're talking to two people who have really not played anything substantial or at all of it. So
yeah. It's so yeah, that's like the last major area, and I've not gotten there in the game currently, but I'm moving at a good clip, and because things are coming back to me that I know to focus on, and also they've done a lot of quality of life improvements to the game. It's hard to remember like all the little things they've done, but it's definitely, the menus are definitely better than they used to be. They still aren't that great.
Yeah, I was going to say. Better. From what I've heard, they're improvements, and they're still not great. Yeah, they are, and like the leveling system is still strange, and like having ability slots and then having multiple points to put into each different ability, and then using mutagens to get bonuses. It's a weird leveling system. Yeah.
So yeah, like the actual playing of it is in the show. It's definitely showing its age even just 3 years later in terms of like just it's got a bad case of waypoint syndrome of just like because you spend most of your time just looking at your minimap, going towards your next waypoint. Yeah. So you don't necessarily look at the really well-designed world, at least visually, that they've created, the continent in the Witcher lore. But this game caused me to go read one of the books too. But other than like those complaints, like the writing in this game is still incredible. It's still what will pull you through, even when you're getting frustrated with little things, like little hitches or like some sound glitches still pop up here and there. But
I think it's kind of typical Western RPG jank, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not. I have not had anything game breaking. The loading times are better than they used to be. They were pretty bad on console when they first came out. Mm-hmm. Like I don't remember if they were worse or as bad as original Bloodborne loading times were, but they were bad. but yeah, the writing is still some of the best writing I've ever come across in an RPG or really any game in general. It's just in terms of how much there is.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
It like there because like in the dialogue choices, like there are like for every conversation you have based on which order you pick dialogue in, like they've written it to where it makes sense regardless of what order you go in almost 100% of the time. There's like times here and there where they didn't quite get it, but yeah, you can like pick like being able to go through a dialogue tree or list really in this and not like the conversation still feeling kind of natural is pretty novel in video games. So especially in RPGs. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
The history of each area there's a lot incredible amount of depth to each section of the world you go to that you don't have to, that doesn't get forced upon you. Like it's there if you want to look into it, but like just in the opening area, the White Orchard, which is like the kind of tutorial-ish area, you can go back there whenever you want. But it's like a weird practically open world area for when the game really opens up. But
yeah, it's funny. Like I started it and I was like, oh, this is pretty big, and then you're like, oh, this is a seventh of the game, maybe.
Yeah, like I remember when I first played it, because it was still one of the biggest games I'd ever played at the time, like just in terms of like landmass and like just I had the same reaction the first time. It's like, yeah, this open world's pretty big, but yeah, then you go to the real one, and
yeah,
it's still like it's also got a bad case of icons on the map if you want, because like when you go to notice boards and you pick up the notices, which I've eventually just stopped reading because there are so many of them. They're usually there's a lot of good writing on those too, but
again, there's just a lot of writing in this game.
Yeah, and like sometimes I just want to get going, and I do usually read the books though that I pick up because they're well written, sometimes really funny, sometimes really tragic, but which is a lot of the that's basically the writing is either it's funny or incredibly tragic, but
yeah, this game dabbles a lot in gray. There's almost in the few quests I've done, I don't know if there's ever really just a happy ending.
Yeah, I can talk about I was gonna talk about the White Orchard. Like when you're there, like your main goal there is to kill a griffin. Like that's the quest that'll open up the next part of the game is killing the griffin. And you meet him immediately upon entering the area, and he's your goal. And upon doing that, if you go off and do a Witcher contract, which is one of the specialized side objectives, side quests, which are hunts, and if you go do the Devil in the Well, I think is the first one you get in the whole, and you go do that. There's a little storyline there about a man and his wife who left a nobleman's manor. They left an area that was run by a corruptish nobleman, and who had been harassing his wife, I want to say. And you go there and you find out that I'm going to spoil like stuff in the opening area for people. It's a game's 3 years old. I don't, but it's you go there and you find out that he goes after them to bring them back. They also find some notes that talk about how happy they are, like the first day they get there, and just like the feeling of like finally being free of it for a little bit. And then you find out he shows up there. She says something about the nobleman's son, which causes him to kill her husband, and that leading her to hanging herself in the well. And in The Witcher, a lot of monsters are created by people doing bad things or dying in horrible ways. And yeah, it's kind of like everything comes back to haunt you. That's kind of like a big theme of The Witcher from what I've seen throughout my time with it in the books. Like your past coming back to haunt you. So she becomes a wraith, and that she is the first thing you have to kill in the and then after you kill her, you don't have to do this mission at all. It's totally optional. And as you follow the main quest, you come across you meet the head of the Nilfgaard army there, there's also a whole political plot going on. And The Witcher 2 is a big part of it, and now it's kind of like in the background here. There's a lot going on. Anyway, so the occupying force there, he's like, kill the Griffin for me, and then he tells you to go talk to two people, and you talk to this hunter who, if you just talk to him and like, hey, can you help me hunt this Griffin, and you can just he'll tell you where he last saw it, and that leads you on the hunt, or you can help him do something really quick. And after that, you can still keep going, or you can just talk to him a little bit, and you find out why he's kind of lives by himself, and why he's kind of on the outskirts of everyone is because he was shunned for being homosexual, and and then you find out he had a relationship with the nobleman's son, which leads you to, and they found out, and the nobleman's son killed himself, and then they shunned this guy, and then that leads you to believe that girl that became the Wraith made a comment about his son being homosexual, which led to him killing her husband and her killing herself. So, and it's all stuff that you don't have to
engage with.
Yeah, whatsoever. And also, if you go to the alchemist, well, you do have to go to the alchemist, the local alchemist. You find out she was very close friends with that girl. She asked you to go find out, and I forget their whole there's a lot of insinuation they also had a secret relationship too. So. And that also makes you wonder what that girl said about his son. If she might have also been bisexual. So, and that alchemist has a lady in there who is attacked by the Griffin, and there's a very short quest you can do to. He's like, and she's dying, and he's like, I have Witcher potions, but Witchers can drink potions because they're mutated. They are and they are able to consume things that normal human beings cannot. So he's like, I don't know if this will probably help her, but I don't know what it will do to her afterwards.
Yeah, or she might not survive it at all. So
yeah, the alchemist is like, well, it's better. If we don't try, she's gonna die, and you have a choice. You can, and if you give her the potion, which I did, she thanks you, and the quest is completed, and you go on your way. If you go back into the quest log and read the completed quest, it tells you like the aftermath of the quest, and she survives her wounds because of the potion you gave her, and her lover in the army comes to pick her up, and you find out that while she survived, the potion destroyed her mind, and she has no recollection of who she is, and she's basically I forgot the word now. She's incapable of doing things now. Basically, she's a vegetable.
Yeah.
There's another word I wanted to use there, but I can't remember. But so yeah, this is all in one quest line that you can follow and figure. And if you and one side quest thrown in, so and that's just the opening area, and that's pretty much every quest line in the game. After that is just that many layers of all that shit. And like, just like a good shade of gray option is like, you try to help that woman, and did you really help her? Would she have just been better dying? Or and then the game just goes on. Like it doesn't even tell you that. You don't even figure out if you don't want to what happened.
Yeah. And the thing I do like is that the game doesn't try to pontificate what's the better choice. Like there's no like, hey, this happened and that was bad. You shouldn't have done that. It's just this happened.
Yeah, there are major the next major quest line in the next area with the Bloody Baron it's just that to a whole other level. Like I don't think you've probably played that yet, Jason.
I'm working on it right now. So far, the thing that has endeared me most to Geralt was him talking to the goat.
Yes, the princess.
Yeah, when he's talking to Princess, it's like, am I really gonna have to ring this bell the whole way back? And then the bear comes, run, you stupid, or you damn stupid thing.
Yeah, Geralt is such a good straight man character. It's because his voice, and for how monotone his voice is, there's a lot of range in the voice for the voice actor that portrays him, which I really like. He's he gives off a lot of different emotions without actually showing a lot of emotion.
Yeah,
Which is really impressive.
It's very unlike Christian Bale's Batman thing, where it's all monotone with no real like range in emotion. Where there's very subtle cues as to like how Geralt's actually feeling. So, like I said, like, and then my favorite little bit of that is like right as you're getting the goat back, it's like you would make a good roach. You have the qualities of what makes a good roach. And the Vanessa, I'm sure you're unaware, roach is what he names his horse.
Every horse
he has. So if your horse dies, another horse named Roach comes back.
Yeah,
but you have the qualities of a good roach. You don't talk much.
Yeah,
and meanwhile the goat is bleeding at you the whole damn way. It's like, Geralt, are you listening to this thing? It's kind of talking an awful lot.
Yeah, it's one of the least offensive escort missions I've ever played because it's actually entertaining and it's not that long either.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna say that the bear thing is probably a good third of the escort mission. So
it's a good gag too. The bear thing's a really good gag.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing I think it gets undersold a lot in The Witcher is like, the serious stuff is really great, but man, there is some very good subtle humor in there too. That if you're not paying attention, it's just like, oh man, there's the side quest with the All God. I won't get into it, but I enjoyed that one a lot.
It's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Have you done the stuff with Kira? There's good stuff with Kira. And
yeah. Kira's a very man, that's the thing too. I do really like about The Witcher 3 is that there's not a lot of like I said, black or white characters. Everyone's got their own thing that they're doing, and this is something that like I think JRPGs normally do pretty well as far as like being able to write characters go, but Western RPGs always kind of flub it. I feel like. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it depends on the series. Like there's some. I mean, like if we're talking like Torment. Or Planescape Torment, like that's got some of the best writing in video games, and like Fallout New Vegas, but a lot of Western RPGs, maybe I'm just thinking like, in terms of like Elder Scrolls, where everybody's just like, you're the chosen one, go succeed and do well. It's like, okay, great, thanks. It's like,
yeah, and there are only a few times in the game where it actually shows you like what choices led to a certain outcome, and they're usually for bigger events in the game, but it never really. And Geralt narrates over the over like this changing like painting kind of thing in the background that shows you what your choices led to, and it's never like, man, you really picked the wrong thing here. It's like, this is what you did and this is what happened. Yep. So and that's the way the world is now. All right, keep going. It's like it's so hard to pull off what it does, and it feels like it does it without even trying. Yeah. Like it creates, and I think Geralt's the key to that, in my opinion, is just the way they portray his character, and that he's essentially a bounty hunter, in that world, a different kind of bounty hunter, monster. He's a monster hunter. Yeah, and he only works. They always get paid. He works for money, but and. He's got his own moral compass, and it's not always right or wrong. It's just kind of how he looks at the world. Yeah, and it's just kind of how the whole game is. And there's
a very subtle like thing at the very. I don't even remember like what the quest line was, but like you bring somebody. I'm trying to think exactly what you do, but God, maybe you bring some criminal around or something like that. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's a deserter, but you bring them to an army or to a couple army guys, and they offer to give you money, and you can refuse it. And I before I try to do anything in as far as like choice goes, I do make a save. So I went and refused it, and it doesn't. They don't like pat you on the back and laud you. It's like, oh hey, thanks for but all it does is basically just cheat you out of money. So you kind of find out that like, no, there really is no wrong in taking the money in this game. Like, there's no plus to not taking money. Whereas in like, say something a little bit more, I guess a morality system, more primitive, like BioWare stuff. You end up, in the Paragon or the good side or whatever for not taking money for doing something like that. Whereas in this, it's just like, no, you're just doing your job and taking money for it.
Yeah, it's and you can every time you get a Witcher contract, you can haggle for more money, and it's not like it doesn't drop your good or bad rating down anymore. It's just like that's just what you do. You're a Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think that was I think that was a very like good subtle way of showing that like there really is no benefit to treating this like a BioWare game. There is no, you're either a good guy or a bad guy, basically. You know, you're either a Boy Scout or you're a rough and tumble good guy, or however you want to look at the renegade path. So
yeah, just make a choice.
Yeah,
so, like, that's how you play the game.
Yeah,
it's just
and take money, because money is not as or money is a very valuable commodity in this game.
I will say once you get to Novigrad, money becomes, because you've probably been picking up things like florins and other like types of currency you can't use.
Yeah.
When you get to Novigrad, and it's a cool little detail because again, this area you're in is being occupied after the end of Witcher 2. Assassin of the Kings. Which is a huge political plot in that game. It's very complex. I don't remember a lot of it because that game was like 7 years ago at this point that I played that. But the world is in a state after that, and the whole area you're in is being occupied by a larger force, and they are changing like the currency in a way. So when you get to Novigrad, you can exchange that currency that's no longer valid anywhere for the new currency. So you actually get a large amount of gold when you get to Novigrad if you find the banker. But it's just like little stuff like that is really cool, I think. But yeah, I mean, praising The Witcher's writing at this point is kind of cliche. It's like what it's good. That's what it's good at. And the Bloody Baron's a fantastic character with a lot of layers. There's a lot of things with that guy. Yeah. I don't know how far you've gotten into his thing, but he's also a very good example of why that writing in that game is so good.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, let's move on from The Witcher here. This way we can get the show on the road. It's weird. The only other game I've been playing really that I'm going to talk about is I kind of went back to Dragon's Dogma for a little bit, and man, let me tell you, if they could meld Dragon's Dogma combat with The Witcher, like writing and story, oh god, I mean, perfect game.
Yeah.
God damn it,
or like the world design of like Breath of the Wild. Oh. Like the game design.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's just weird. The combination of the two, like me playing them sort of, at the same time. And then I just listened to last week's 8-4 play, and one of the guys actually mentioned that same thing. Was like, the Dragon's Dogma, if you could like put Dragon's Dogma's combat in The Witcher 3, it would be like near perfect. And I'm like, oh man, yeah, that's okay, good. I'm not the only one who thought that. I was just, because it's just like, the story and all that stuff in Dragon's Dogma is stupid. I mean, there's no two ways about it, but god damn, that game is a lot of fun to play.
A dragon steals your heart at the beginning of that game.
Yeah.
Like literally steals your heart.
Yeah, but god damn, that game is good. Oh man, I forgot how much I missed like playing that game. It is so much fun, just like hacking hacking things to pieces. It's just that is a good solid combat RPG. Again, yeah, the story's dumb, and as I'm getting into it, I'm remembering just how bad it was, and I'm like, oh, okay, man, I remember now. Just the fun of this game is actually the fighting. So, but yeah, like I said, if they could meld those two together, like Capcom, this is CD Projekt Red, this is Capcom. You guys should talk, maybe have a little get a little thing going together here.
Yeah, and one similarity between the two is that they are not afraid to let you wander into areas you should not be in yet.
Oh God.
Yeah. They're like, you'll just come across enemies in both games that will wreck your shit if you even try to fight them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there. So
yeah, and the thing is, outside of like the life bar, there's real no indication in Dragon's Dogma that you are boo food if you come up against somebody that you are way under level against. In The Witcher, they'll put like a skull above the above the enemy. Like, you don't stand a chance. Run.
Yeah, don't even try it.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, so. I mean, I guess that's where they got that from Assassin's Creed Origins. So it's just like, playing that and having a little more knowledge of The Witcher 3 now, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's where that came from. But yeah, it's just like, man, it's something I miss. So anyway, let's move on from what we've been playing here. Let's talk about, because there's been a little bit of news here. There was a Nintendo Direct Mini with a fair amount of announcements in there, we'll say.
Yeah, it was like just games, like a lot of old games, but a lot of games on the list.
Yeah. So first off here, we're gonna get man, I don't know. I don't know if either of you guys have played this. I tried it and I bounced right off of it. World Ends With You Final Mix is coming to the Switch.
Played it on the iPad. So
What is that?
That is like, it was a DS RPG that was based in Shibuya, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot. Fashion's a big part of that game.
Yeah, it's strange. It just, the character design didn't do it for me, and it might largely because it was a Tetsuya Nomura.
It has a really cool like story. It's a really weird game. Like there's a lot. 'Cause you're like your character. I believe you're dead, and you're kind of like in a limbo state, and you're in this competition, and I think the winner gets to come back to life. Something along those lines. So
It's typical like Square, like what the hell is going on here sort of thing. But like, I mean, people like rave about it, but man, I just could never get into it. So
the combat's cool. It's different. It's like this weird. It played better on the iPad than it did or it was easier to do on the iPad. It's like a weird like kind of like battle spinner kind of system.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange. That game is very unique, at least. So it's
I mean, at least it's trying something different, I guess. So
yeah, I will definitely play it again on the Switch. I'll try on it. So
I'm definitely taking a hard pass on it. So So Dark Souls Remastered is coming to the Switch. It's also coming to PS4 and Xbox One, and eventually PC. Or I'm trying to remember if the PC one's coming later. But anyway, PC. So yeah, Dark Souls on the go. That's something. I think it's just time I threw in the towel with the series. Like, they're just not for me. I really, really tried every single one of them, and I liked the second one maybe because I felt like I could progress because you could eventually wipe out all the enemies in an area. I just never got good enough in those games to really like finish them through. So I think I'm just gonna take a pass on this one too because that series is just not for me.
I beat the first one 5 or 6 times, I think. I love the first one. I like 2 and 3, but the first one is one of my favorite games ever.
Okay.
And so I know that game like the back of my hand. I used to know the lore of that fucking game. I don't anymore. It's really complex, and you just have to read a wiki. That's all you have to do to understand it. That's all there is. That's really all you can do to understand it because.
So it's a lot like Destiny's lore.
Yeah, except for it's not made by it's not on an app designed by the developer. You just go on the internet and type in Dark Souls lore and enjoy. It's it's a lot.
I would add a question mark at the end of that enjoy, but
yeah, it's there's a lot going on there. But yeah, I think that game is one of the best action RPGs ever made.
Okay.
So,
Vanessa, have you ever played any of the Dark Souls games?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
They look a little dark for me.
Okay, I can completely understand that. And,
too many souls for me.
Too many dark souls in that game for me. Yeah. I might pick it up though. I like. It looks like it has maybe an expansive type world.
Yeah, it's actually the first one is my favorite because it has like a kind of like a Metroid kind of world because it all interconnects on itself. Almost all of it. There are certain points where you can't and where it doesn't. But which is really cool. It has that really cool Metroid feeling of like or like coming full circle in an area and like, where am I? Oh shit, I'm here. And it's like, oh, I'm back at the fucking beginning. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the world design is one of my favorites in any video game, honestly. But that game has a very special place. It's especially, and I still remember the first time I beat it. Like the first time you beat Dark Souls is a moment. It's because at this point I just get it. I've kind of figured out Dark Souls, but at that point it was still an achievement.
Yeah, I think when the first Dark Souls came out, like I compared Demon Souls to say like Castlevania 3, and then Dark Souls to Symphony of the Night, basically, as far as like level structure goes.
Yeah, there's definitely just that Metroidvania, that word Jason loves. It's there's definitely got that unexpected inspiration in there. I actually don't know. I'm probably gonna get it on the Switch. It's hard to, but the other one's gonna be the 4K 1080, like the 60 frames per second is only gonna be on the Xbox and PS4. So I don't know how much better it's gonna look on the Switch. It's gonna look a little better, of course, but the frame rate's a big problem in those games. So
yeah, especially in Blighttown where it goes to a single digit. It turns into Shadow of the Colossus on the PS2.
Yeah, Blighttown's like legendary for how bad its frame rate is. There's like, which is good because there's like a whole like way to skip Blighttown if you pick the right item at the very beginning of the game. So at least you can get around it that way.
Always a sign of good design when you can pick an item at the beginning of the game and skip something because it's so terrible to play through.
Well, the item doesn't tell you what it does. It's just like this key opens.
Almost nothing in the game tells you what it does. So.
Actually, the descriptions are where you figure out most of the stuff.
Well, actually,
I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ! I don't know if you could have pushed your glasses up any further up your nose there when you said that.
I mean, if you want, you started this.
I'm just saying. Like, yeah, that's exactly how I want to invest in a world is sit there and read item descriptions.
I didn't do that. I told you I read their wiki.
Yeah. Which are copy and paste of item descriptions. Fun.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a game I want to play too. If I'm like, well, let me go research the wiki first, then I'll get back to it.
I mean, you don't play Dark Souls initially for the story. That's just something it's something you get interested in eventually if you played enough, because it hints vaguely enough at story stuff in the game to make you interested sometimes.
I wouldn't say vaguely enough. I would just say vaguely.
It's very vague.
Yeah.
Most of the story is the opening cutscene.
Yeah, so okay, let's move on. There's an update coming for Mario Odyssey next month, and you get to hide balloons from Luigi, and then have Luigi go find the balloons.
That sounds thrilling.
It's what the really?
Sounds like Mario's the dick. Sounds like Mario's the dick brother.
Like they fucking just shit all over Luigi.
Yeah,
like all the time. Like it's like, oh, you can hide a balloon and go find a balloon. Yeah. Thanks, Luigi.
Here, my fellow adult, go find balloons, dipshit.
I just want a new. I put a new world in there or something. I don't know. Whatever. There'll be like a subset of people that are super into this, and it'll be it's like super competitive balloon finding.
No doubt.
Don't go on Tumblr. I'm sure there's already some dark web level shit on there. So
it's also got a Mario Sunshine inspired outfit, a musician outfit, a New Donk City musicians, and a knight outfit. It's a free update. So
yeah,
I like that knight update or that knight outfit idea.
Yeah, it's
there's the Dark Souls connection, right?
Yeah, it's actually when you put that on, the game actually turns into Dark Souls. all the joy of Mario Odyssey gets immediately sapped out. It's just become incredibly oppressive. So you can make that choice in February if you want, with the free update. It's free. I don't know why I'm being weird about it. It's free. So.
You know, many things in life can be free. I mean, somebody can offer to kick you right in the groin for free. Doesn't mean you take it. So
you gotta pay for that.
You can be snarky about that and be like, no, I'm good, thanks. You know, it's like I don't want that. So anyway, there's new tournament or Pokken tournament characters coming. I think they're all like support characters, if I'm remembering right. You get Blastoise.
Blastoise is an actual character, I think.
Oh, is he? Okay. There's Rayquaza. Or like Mega Rayquaza.
And Aegislash is also a character, I believe.
Yeah, there's... In a game that just seemed to have disappeared off the face of the earth, and then, like, even coming out on the Switch, like, I don't think it got a lot of...
It was at EVO.
It didn't... Yeah, I know. It just didn't seem to get a lot of traction. Like, I never hear anybody talking about the damn thing, but...
I've never played it, never really want to play it, but... So I like fighting games. That one doesn't interest me at all.
I had a decent time with it with my daughter when we were playing it on the Wii U. The only problem is you can't have somebody play on the game or you can't basically play 2 players on that with 2 pro controllers. You had to somebody had to use the gamepad and somebody had to use the pro controller, which yeah, thanks Nintendo. God, I gamepad so much. God, that gamepad just it's like a sort of looking for like a Fisher Price Switch, basically, is how I would describe the gamepad. Just ugh.
That's actually pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's chintzy and
it's the 2DS to Switch's 3DS.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I would take a 2DS over a gamepad again. So anyway, let's move on.
It was just a comparison, Jason. Jesus.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
I know. No, it's fine. It's like I think that everything I say is stupid. Big deal. It's fine.
Well,
Moving on.
Well, I mean, I've got that on recording now. Great. That's gonna be a drop. I'm gonna buy a soundboard just so I can drop that in there after you say something. Everything I say is stupid, Jason. Let's move on. Anyway, man, I don't know well, I know who this is for, but SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy is.
God,
what the hell?
All I have to do is design. They could just design them a little differently,
Mm-hmm.
You find it.
Here we go. This is Horny Anime Fighter 3000. I mean, I don't know. It's
fan service really bugs me. I know some people are like really into it, and I'm not hating on people for being into it. It's just like the whole idea of fan service kind of bugs me though, and it feels like it takes away from whatever anime it's in. And
I mean,
especially
you've got to think how incredibly niche this game is going to be. I mean, SNK fighters are already like a niche market as it is. Yeah. I mean, King of Fighters is already
but the SNK games are generally pretty good, so it kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so you're getting a subset of a subset of a subset of video game players who are going to be in this, maybe.
I think the collector's edition comes with like a hat though. That it comes with Terry Bogard's hat, but
it says Fatal Cuties or something, right?
Yeah, it's just Fatal Cuties on it.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's a nifty idea, but I'm never gonna wear that hat, and I would not let my daughter wear that hat. So,
speaking of fan service, I watched some of Devilman Crybaby on Netflix. That is at what point does fan service become pornography? That's my question after watching that. Like that is the most
Dragon Pink.
Like that show is basically like if Adult Swim made an anime. It is possibly the most graphic anime I've ever seen in my whole life, and I've watched plenty of graphic anime shit. That's in terms of violence, not as much of the sexual content. There's a lot of sexual content. It's like anyway, it's a side note about weird anime fan service.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I think it struck me more because it was like advertised on Netflix. It's like a Netflix original. It just seemed.
Oh.
It's like you got advertising budget behind it, and it's
the last like Netflix anime thing I watched was the first season of Sidonia, and that was
yes,
that got recommended to me by my friend Frances. Actually, she was like, I think you like it, so I dug it. I just haven't got around to watching the second season. And man, the intro to that one, the intro theme to that thing, I like that one. It's like once you know the lyrics, it's a little weird, like kind of jam into it because it's very like propaganda music, but it's catchy as all hell. So
the best kind of propaganda music always is.
Yeah. You gotta be able to bop your head to it. So
Gucci Gang is actually propaganda music. So that's reference for all of our rap fans out there.
I don't know how many that is. So
it's probably not many.
Yeah. I was gonna say on this podcast that might just be you right now. So I'm gonna say you make some like mid '90s Easy E references. I might be able to hang with you, but other than that, yeah, I'm kind of.
I never had dinner with the president.
I mean, we're in the millennium still, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's as much as you're getting out of me, guys. So all right, let's move on here. Payday 2 hits. Is coming with a new character. Man, I had completely forgotten Payday 2 was coming to the Switch. Like, that is an odd fit for this console.
Yeah, because it's like a very multiplayer focused game, and
we know how good Nintendo does, voice chat and cooperative gameplay because of that. Yeah,
friend code's great.
Oh,
what's the new character? Okay.
They did.
Oh, the character's name is Joy. Get it? Joy-Con?
Oh, God.
And it's like a scary LED faced monster dude.
Oh, it's like that dude from Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah.
The asshole from Watch with the
All
emoji
right.
face.
No, all right. God, that. Jesus.
John Wick is in Payday 2. I almost played it because of that. They added him. They added him in an update at one point.
Okay, well, that's.
Those movies are good.
I'm not saying they're not.
Yes, good.
I'm just more
Wait,
at the choice.
Wait. You can't just throw that out there.
Get him, Ness.
You don't like John Wick?
Oh no, I'm not saying that they're bad movies. I'm just saying they're not like, I watched it once and I'm like not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go see John Wick again. It was so it's gonna win awards. It's just like
Well, that's because action movies don't get fucking awards because people at a fucking.
And John Wick goes right with them.
Oh yeah, because Oscar winners are always so fucking great.
As an action movie though, it's just an entertaining like kill them all action movie, which I do like. I don't know that it's, I wouldn't say it's like a good movie. It's like a bad, they're all bad though in that good way.
I can't have this conversation right now. I need Connor. Where's Connor at?
Vanessa's banned from the podcast.
Nope, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm bringing Connor next time. We're gonna go at it.
Well, I'm not disputing it though. I'll be with you guys on that. I just wouldn't say it's like not the top of my good movie list. It's definitely like an action movie.
It's a very good action movie, but so it's sequel. It's okay. It's okay. Just my second one.
It looks like it's fitting with this video game as a character.
Yeah, sure. It's,
So Mario Tennis Aces is going to come to the Switch here. That's going to add a story mode. So this is basically the cash-in, if you will, of Golf Story. Oh God, I mean, at least it'll have a competent developer behind it. So
maybe.
I mean, unlike Golf Story, where it's like, oh hey, look, there's a story in here. Oh God, everybody thinks it's funny. Oh no, it's not funny. Holy God, there's a 10-minute like rap battle between a geriatric and a punk kid. Man, this is not entertaining. Holy cow. Oh wow, the golf's not that great in this game. Jesus Christ, why did people like that fucking game? Oh, sorry. After Golf Story. It's okay.
It's pretty popular.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yep.
I never played
Yep.
it.
So was running up the Jews in Germany in the 40s. So
what?
Too soon.
I'm just saying that was pretty popular then too. That doesn't mean it was good. Anyway,
you really compare that to Golf Story?
Yep. Golf Story is a terrible game. I don't care what people say. It's a terrible game. So
that's fine, but that's not an apt comparison. I don't think. Like maybe pick another game you didn't like. But anyway, moving on, I guess.
Yeah.
From that.
Yeah, Mario Tennis. Bring story mode. Like I said, at least it's a competent developer this time. So
we even had a Mario Tennis for a while too, right?
Oh, there's the one on the Wii U that was just a tennis game, which was a full retail release too at $60, which dope.
Yeah, I didn't buy a Wii U, so didn't I don't make mistakes.
That's okay, John. A lot of people didn't. So
yeah, and it's paying off in the end because all the games are coming to the Switch that I wanted to play anyway.
My Kingdom for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. God damn it.
Bayonetta 2's coming in on my birthday.
What is?
Bayonetta 2.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. How do you say this? Is it Fee?
I think it's Fee.
Fee. That's coming to the Switch next month. I don't know that I really care about this one.
It's the art style is kind of neat, but nothing about it like grabbed me otherwise.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Yeah, there's so many pretty like games like this now that are out. I'm just kind of like,
it looked a little Spyro-ish at times, which I guess that's not a nostalgia thing that's been tapped yet. I don't think people have quite gotten to those 3D platformers yet. So, I guess maybe if you like Spyro, you might like that game.
There we go. Yeah, there's a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, this one it'll put it on the price. Like if this is a $20 game, I'll look into it because it looks pretty. I like the little monster thing or fox thing. What do you think he is? Is he a fox?
He's a fee.
A fee? I like the fee.
Yeah, I don't know. That's,
what else is coming, Jason?
Speaking of all the games you wanted from this from the Wii U coming over, we've got Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and then one that you probably didn't want and shouldn't want because it's terrible. Hyrule Warriors with all the DLC is coming to the Switch also. Yeah, Hyrule Warriors, not a good Muso game, and definitely not a good Zelda game. So
good Muso game.
good action movie. Anyway, Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Data is also coming to the Switch this summer. I have already pre-ordered the goddamn collector's edition because it's got Adol's sword in this one. So yes, I'm triple dipping on this game now. So yeah, fuck me.
I played the demo for that game. It's okay. From the demo.
Can't tell you as far as the demo goes, like how far deep or how deep it goes into it. So
seems pretty early.
Let's see. And sort of in regards to that too, the PC release has been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah, it just got like it'll come eventually.
Yeah,
it went from like coming out like the end of this month to it'll get here eventually.
Basically, what's going on? I got the letter, and I think like the vice president of NISA basically said that there's a lot of memory bleed issues in the PC version, and as soon as they finish the new localization, they are handing it off to somebody else because they can't do it. So I don't know what the hell happened there, but yeah, apparently Falcom hasn't quite got the PC thing figured out for newer stuff. Jeez, yeah, I thought it was a pretty straightforward thing if you're developing for like PS4 to make it work on a PC, but apparently not. So
I don't actually. There have been a lot of ports that are to PC that aren't good.
I mean, they've mostly been published by Warner Brothers, but
oh yeah, that Nier is supposedly pretty. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Also, Dark Souls had to be fixed by
fans,
people, not developers.
Yeah,
That's how bad its PC port was.
I've always, it's a weird thing of like I respect what From Software does, but man, they do not know how to develop games. They are not good at making games run properly, I suppose.
Yeah, frame rate's always a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
We'll see what Bloodborne 2 looks like, because that's totally what they fucking teased. I don't know, like it's not. Yeah, it's obviously gonna be Bloodborne 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on. Kirby Star Allies is coming in March. That's something I'm going to pick up. I'm kind of actually looking forward to this because having a multiplayer Switch game that I can play with my daughter. That's kind of easy.
Isn't there another Kirby game coming out? Like it just came out.
Yeah, that's for the 3DS. I think it's coming out or.
Let's see. It says this. My thing says the 19th. Kirby Battle. Is that like a Mario Party game? With Kirby characters.
I think it's like a Smash Brothers one. If I'm remembering right. So I don't know. That's one I'm passing on, but the platformer thing I think it'll be pretty fun to play. So, I mean what was it? Return to Dreamland was a lot of fun on the Wii. Like I got a lot of enjoyment out of that one. Like I said, Kirby does some cool stuff. The latest or the I guess previous game now, Planet Robobot, that was a lot of fun too. And then Vanessa, you liked Mass Attack quite a bit, right?
Yeah. I like Kirby.
Yeah. I've said this before. I've got about a dozen Kirby sitting on my desk right now. So yeah, I like Kirby. So
understatement.
He's a cool dude.
Even if he is sort of he's the weirdest character design. Just like he's a pink ball. He's
the laziest character design.
Yeah.
I drew the circle with shoes. We can put him in a game.
It's like, wait. He needs arms. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Draw some arms on him. Now we're good.
And I guess he can suck stuff up too.
Yeah. And then it took I think it was a second game where they finally figured out, hey, maybe we should have him do something outside of like suck and spit. So I should really rephrase that. Anyway, so
gross.
The last little bit there, Donkey Kong is coming to Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So there you go. That's pretty much everything that came out of that direct there. So I think we should move on to what the big news is here.
the news.
The Labo?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
the
that
hell,
was.
guys?
I got off work to my Twitter just blown up by this thing. Because I knew they were announcing something. I was like, oh, I wonder what it's gonna be. And then it's just people with gifs of like a cardboard bird flapping it back and forth and like fighting robots and like what the hell happened? And it was a lot of cardboard jokes.
Yeah, I have no
Anyway,
idea what's
Jason,
going on
what
there.
is Nintendo Labo?
Oh god, I really wish I could explain it.
It's
I mean, man, I don't know. I mean, basically, it seems like you buy a piece of software, and then it shows you how to make stuff, and it uses the Joy-Con like infrared sensors for the movement and how stuff works. Like you can build like a piano out of it, which is kind of crazy. Man, I don't know this.
yeah, it's definitely unique. I
In a console that is as Nintendo can be, this is a Nintendo add-on piece of software thing that is as Nintendo can be. I think. I mean, just
yeah, but unlike the Vitality sensor and stuff like that, it actually has a release date.
yeah.
So it's like actually this is actually coming out.
Yeah,
and
it probably won't suck like Wii Music. So
also coming out in 420, which is a really interesting decision on Nintendo's part.
Yeah,
It's pretty smart of them, I think, though, right? You're like, what do you want to do at 420? Let's buy a Labo and smoke a bunch of pot.
Yeah, it's like, I think those are going to be reversed. It's like, I smoked a bunch of pot. Maybe I should buy some cardboard to play with on my Switch.
Yeah, they'd be like, does Prime now deliver Labos?
Yeah.
You think they're going to waterproof the cardboard?
No.
No.
Children are going to ruin this.
Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I think really what you're doing is you're paying for the software, and the cardboard's kind of just like an add-on sort of thing. Like, okay, here's what you can use to initially build this thing, but then I think you can piece it together with like whatever. I mean, I don't know. People that are going to get really into this probably have 3D printers and are already kind of handy with stuff like this. So I don't know. I mean, I can see this being kind of cool, but man, I am not the audience for this. I kind of outside of just like what the hell. There's not a lot of interest on my part on this. I'm
still trying to figure out who the audience is. Like some of the stuff I've seen, like one, I'm watching it now. It's a GIF of this maybe 10-year-old boy with a robot backpack. And it's like, okay, cool, kid could like this. But then the video is of him like bashing in like some alien skull, and there's like blood flying around. I'm like, okay, I don't even know.
Yeah. It's like,
and there's two different packages too. Like there's the variety kit, which has a bunch of different like things to play with, and then it's like the robot one where you do the robot game that they had on there, where you have like a backpack thing, and yeah, it's strange.
God, yeah, I don't know. Jesus.
They've lost their minds.
Yeah.
I,
No. They continue to lose their minds.
Maybe it'll be a surprise success. Nintendo is apt to make weird surprise successes. I mean, look at the Switch.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then they also make weird non-successes like the Wii U. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, let's face it. The 3DS, the 3 part is just a gimmick now that has been tossed to the side. I mean, now it's literally just, hey, it's a more powerful DS. Here's what you got. Like, you got a more powerful DS and an analog stick thing, bobber.
There's one of a cardboard man, and he like stands it up and moves it a little bit, and it just falls forward. And that's like the highlight they have of this little cardboard man, is him just falling over.
Yeah. God, I don't know. I mean, clearly I'm not the audience for this. Maybe my kids are, but they're too young and destructive. That, I mean, their plastic toys don't make a year sometimes. So I mean, I can't imagine cardboard. I mean,
also, you got to put the Switch in the cardboard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no way.
Yeah. So
it would be covered in soda and stickiness and chocolate. I don't know, whatever children eat these days.
It's like
you about nailed it there, Kay.
Like there's some cool like kids can like draw color on it and like do some different decorations to it and stuff too. Like there's some cool creativity stuff for kids. It just seems like but putting your expensive Switch stuff, like those Joy-Cons are what, like $70 a piece. So it's like, oh, I don't know, Nintendo. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's their thinking was. I mean, the like Japanese people are a little bit more careful with their stuff than American people are. They have a little bit more respect for their belongings than we do. So maybe that was the initial thought when they did this, but
Maybe.
that's all I can think of. Because I mean, like I said, you look at like just the used video game market out there, and you've got Famicom games that are near perfect condition still, and like us, we're lucky if we can get an NES cart to work half the time because it's been submerged in soda and stickiness. So
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out pretty soon, so we'll see how that goes.
yeah, just mere 3 months away, and man, I don't know.
I'm gonna need a video of this one.
And this might be something to actually go on I actually watch a YouTube video of, like just like watching somebody mess with this, see what it does, and then see if like there's anything I could get out of it. Because at 35 years old, my creativity level for that sort of stuff, as far as like building, and is gone, long gone. Maybe my kids can get into it, but like I said, I don't trust them to not destroy everything, and I'm not buying another Switch for them to use. I'm not Peter Schneider, head of IGN, where all 5 of my kids have a Switch, and then I have my own too. So, and I also don't have 5 kids. So,
Yet.
No. I'm getting to the point of what was that zombie or that like stupid like love like zombie movie or whatever, Warm Bodies or whatever. I'm finally starting to feel like a little bit more cognitive. So I'm sort of feeling like that level zombie than the zombie I'd been for the last few years, where I just been walking around like, I'm on an hour and a half of sleep for the day. I'm good. What the what?
I saw the movie in theaters. I totally forgot that movie happened.
You saw that in theater? Wait, you saw that?
It was a date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, how'd it go? That doesn't sound like a good movie to take someone on a date to.
It was her idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, that worked out real well because we hear about her all the time. Oy.
Yeah. How old is that movie? Old. The movie's pretty old.
Ooh, it's got to be like 5 years, I think, now at this point, right?
Yeah, it was a high school date.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh.
So. I can't get behind movies that portray zombies as, like thinking beings.
Oh, so you're a racist? Okay.
I am.
It's like
I'm a zombieist.
Yeah, it's a zombist. It's I mean, everyone has a right to their own opinions. We're open-minded here on the Catch podcast.
Mm-hmm. John, if it makes you feel any better, I saw Love and Basketball on a date.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep.
I do love basketball.
Yep. And she loved love, and I loved basketball, so boy, that should have. I mean, how was that not a match made in? Oh, God. Okay. Anyway, Labo. So yeah, this I don't know what this thing is. I am really confused at the audience, and man, I would kill to have been a fly on the wall in that meeting. I mean, just that pitch meeting there. Just, you know what? I say that in general for anything that goes on in Nintendo. Just like, what the hell? How did this come up?
Yeah,
I kind of think they have a room of kids where they're like, "Here, children, make something innovative." And they're like, okay, so they put it in cardboard and they used it like a fishing rod. Okay,
it's a focus group of kids like trapped in a room, and they just throw it. Here's the cardboard, kids. Be creative, and then they just leave. It's like a all white room, totally sterile, and then they just observe kids with cardboard for like a week, and they throw like some goldfish crackers in there at times so they can have food.
Yeah,
but
they literally throw them in there like they're feeding geese.
Yeah.
Just throw a handful in there. Go fight amongst yourselves, children. I did like Chris Kohler from Kotaku's tweet where he just he got a piece of cardboard, wrote Mother 3 on it, and put the Joy-Con in there and says it's not working. It's like, yeah, come on, let's it's that probably be just my first thought is like, okay, let's write a game I want, put the Joy-Con in here. Come on, guys, let's make this happen. all those 2 Zelda HD ports you put on the Wii U, how about we put them on the Switch now? Huh? Come on, please. God, I don't want to have to ever pull out my Wii U again. I really don't.
Yeah, neither do I.
just
I have mine sitting on the shelf next to the Switch, thinking like, what if I want to use it again? It's not hooked up though. It's just like a black box next to the Switch, and then my little Wolf Zelda amiibo is on top of it.
It's a little monument to your shame.
Right? I bought it so late in the game too. I only bought it a year ago. I should have just bought a Switch.
Well, we didn't know it was really happening when we talked about getting one. I think with as little as you kind of buy Vanessa, I don't think the Wii U was a bad investment. I don't think as a secondary console the Wii U was a bad investment. If that was your only console, oh boy, did you choose wrong.
Yeah, that's my only console.
Yeah. But I mean, somebody who maybe buys and plays as many games as like John and I do, yeah. Or let me rephrase that: buys as many games as I do and plays as many as John does.
I'm good at time management.
Yeah. That's because you have time. So
yeah, I don't have the whole kid situation going on.
Yeah. I still
Pretty
kids.
Pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, kids. 50 hours of work. A wife who I'm desperately trying not to get to leave me. So.
Priorities.
This is for a different podcast.
Yeah. There's only so much chloroform I can hide in the house before when those start popping up, and I'm like, honey, I love you. Don't you dare sniff it. Okay, good, we're good. Okay, got it for another month or two. We're good. So
Jess doesn't listen to this podcast, right?
No. Are you kidding me? She can barely stand listening to me. If she listened to this, I think she'd probably snap out of it finally, like, oh God, why am I with him? So
you're like, I'm going on a walk. Yeah. I'll be back.
I'm gonna take the kids too, and the car, and a few things of clothes. I'll see you later. Okay, honey. Bye. Wait a second.
She'd probably be like, why don't you go on a walk? Don't come back.
Go get cigarettes.
Yeah, but I don't smoke. Go get cigarettes, honey. Okay, whatever you want, dear. That's a weird request. Wait a second. She turned the garage door off, and my key doesn't work anymore. Anyway, yeah. So I think that wraps it up. Did we cover everything news wise?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was mostly Nintendo stuff. There is at least like that's fun to talk about news. There's like that Quantic Dream shit, but I don't really.
No, we're not talking about that. Yeah. I've been a long-standing David Cage hater, and man, am I glad that
you hate the Sun King, David Cage. Oh my God, that's a whole mess.
God.
That's
God, you know what? I'm wondering now if Brittany is going to actually play Detroit after this.
I got turned off the idea of even playing that as a joke by that whole situation because
Yeah, there was no way I was playing that. I mean, after playing Beyond Two Souls, I was like, oh man, this is terrible. And now it's like hearing about all this, I'm like, yep, it was also a terrible game and a terrible person made it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I played Beyond Two Souls and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I kind of like that. I had a weird enjoyment out of how bad it was.
Oh God, Anyway, so there's that. There's the rumor that there's a new Fable game in the works by the developers of the Forza Horizon series. Which, man, that's a weird choice, but hey, whatever. If they can make it happen, they can make it happen. That's great. Maybe it'll finally turn into like what Project Ego was supposed to be when Fable came out. And God, now that Peter Molyneux won't be attached to it, maybe it'll actually be good. So
I like the first two, actually. For what they are.
The first one's okay. It's a perfectly average action RPG. So
yeah, I think the second one is a better version of it too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it could scarcely be an acceptable game and be worse than the original Fable. So I mean, the Fable, like I said, Fable's kind of just that. It's like, well, it works and it's amusing to play at times. So
yeah, it has charm. I played it when I was younger too, so that's a little bit of nostalgia for it. Yeah, I guess. But,
like I said, that was one of those games like I got real burned on because this was before the Peter Molyneux,
I didn't know anything about like Fable before I played it, so I didn't have expectations going in.
Oh, I had a lot of expectations because of that douched canoe, but. So.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, if you plant an apple, it will grow into a tree, and then maybe if you're playing a sneaky character, you can climb into the tree and climb up into a house and sneak and steal people's belongings through that window in the second story, and then sneak back out because of that tree you planted as a child. Oh, fuck off, Jesus. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate the the very linear action RPG you gave me for that one. Jesus. So anyway, I think that'll wrap it up there. So anyway, let's go ahead and just plug away here. You can follow me at Jason Arriola on Twitter. Vanessa, you are Vicarious Rock, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you really get on Twitter more, Vanessa. I barely see you doing anything there.
I retweet a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and retweet like that post of that little kid smashing an alien's brain with his Labo costume.
Please do. Thank you. And John, we can follow you at JohnLucero777. You know what to do with all of our social stuff on the site. Vanessa put it conveniently in the upper right hand corner of the site there, so you just follow along there. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else we need to plug, John? Or we put up our favorite albums of the year. Movie list just went up as of this recording today. My favorite podcast from this year just went up a couple days ago.
Yeah, games should be going up next week, probably.
Yep, games will be going up next week. So by the time you hear this, the first one might be rolling out in like a day or two. So it'll be me, you, and Gore will be putting up our list there. So we're going to do it separate because, goddamn it, we want hits. Clickbait.
Yeah, spent a lot of time on those lists. I was tired of writing lists by the end of it. So
I spent way too much on that music one. Oh, God.
Our tastes are a little different in music, turns out.
Yeah, so. Well, Yeah, I mean, I also kind of went for the video game sort of stuff deliberately. So, and putting all those tracks in individually, man, it was kind of helps, but man, it takes a long time to do that. So, yeah,
I'm gonna play some Dragon Ball Fighters on Friday, so I'll talk about that in the next podcast. But Fighter Z. I still don't know what the right way to call it is.
I think it is Fighters. I think it's Fighters.
Yeah, but the problem is they capitalized the Z at the end, which, but it's one word. Dragon Ball Fighters is a better name than Fighter Z. It's still not a great name, but it's a better name.
Yeah. I mean, coming from the studio that Guilty Gear.
Yeah. And Blaze Blue.
Yeah. Blaze Blue. Yeah. Whatever. Who cares? It's a made-up word. Nobody knows how to pronounce it properly. So, anyway, thanks for listening, and we will talk at you guys next time.